Welcome back to the Fashion Code, the digital catwalk where we don't just watch fashion, we decode it. And today, we're talking about a brand that's been everything from royal chic to ironic meme, Balenciaga. You've seen the viral Crocs, the $2,000 trash bags, Kim Kardashian in tape, Kanye in whatever he was doing. But how did we get here? Let's go back to the start. Not just Paris Fashion Week or Vietmans. I mean way back to the 19th century. In 1895, in a small fishing town in Spain, Cristobal Balenciaga was born. Not exactly the place you'd expect to find fashion royalty, right? His father was a fisherman, his mother, a seamstress, and that's where it begins. While other kids played outside, Cristobal watched his mom turn scraps into style. By age 12, he was already apprenticing with tailors. By 20, he had opened his first boutique in San Sebastian. Think about that, running your own fashion business before you're legally allowed to rent a car today. His designs caught the attention of Spanish aristocracy. They weren't just impressed, they were obsessed. But then history happened. The Spanish Civil War pushed Cristobal to leave Spain and set up in Paris. In 1937, he launched his first Parisian couture collection. And from that moment, game on. Cristobal wasn't designing pretty dresses. He was shaping silhouettes. He stripped away decoration. He focused on the form, the structure, the silence of the garment. No logos, no gimmicks, just pure design. He created the barrel line, the balloon jacket, the baby doll dress, the sack dress. Each of these changed how women dressed and moved. People called him the architect of haute couture. Even Christian Dior said, Balenciaga is the master of us all. So yeah, the guy had range. But here's the twist. At the peak of his career in 1968, Cristobal shut everything down. No farewell show, no public letter. He just stopped. Imagine Virgil Abloh or Alessandro Michel disappearing at their peak. That's the level. For the next 30 years, the brand existed, but quietly. More a memory than a movement. Until 1997. Enter Nicolas Ghesquière. He was young, unknown, and wildly talented. What did he do? He brought Balenciaga into the future. His silhouettes? Sharp, angular, cyberpunk elegance. It was as if Cristobal met the Matrix, and it worked. Ghesquière took Cristobal's DNA, the clean lines, the structure, the silhouette, and made it feel futuristic. He wasn't trying to copy the past. He was remixing it. Think robot arms meets 1960s couture. He created jackets that looked like armor, pants that looked like techwear before techwear was a thing. And he didn't just dress models. He dressed ideas. Fashion critics were in love. Celebrities followed. And for nearly 15 years, Ghesquière led Balenciaga through a golden age of cool, futuristic fashion. But all good things, you know how it goes. In 2012, he left the brand. And once again, people wondered, is this the end? Spoiler alert. No. Because 2015 brought us a name that now echoes across the entire fashion world. Demna. Yes, just Demna. Like Madonna, but in head-to-toe black. Demna Gvasalia had already made waves with Vietmans, a brand known for turning irony into luxury. Remember those DHL t-shirts that cost more than actual shipping fees? That was him. Demna believed that fashion could be absurd, that it should be. So when he took over Balenciaga, things got wild. Runways weren't runways. They were fake snowstorms, muddy trenches, virtual worlds. He turned a hoodie into high fashion, a raincoat into rebellion, a garbage bag into a luxury product. Balenciaga went from high art to high meme, and people couldn't look away. Was it fashion? Was it trolling? Was it both? The internet exploded. TikTok danced. Instagram reposted. Reddit analyzed every detail like it was a conspiracy theory. Even if you didn't understand it, you were watching. That was the genius. Balenciaga became viral not despite its weirdness, but because of it, and celebrities ate it up. Kim Kardashian in yellow tape, Kanye West wrapped like a sci-fi monk, Justin Bieber in what looked like tactical pajamas. The line between mockery and marketing disappeared, but so did the line between edgy and controversial. In 2022, a Balenciaga ad campaign crossed that line hard. Photos featured children holding teddy bear bags in bondage-style gear. Another campaign included legal documents referencing child protection laws. The internet didn't just react, it erupted. Backlash was massive. Celebrities distanced themselves. Products were pulled. The brand went completely silent. People asked, was this a mistake or part of the show? For a while, no one knew. But then, in true Balenciaga fashion, they didn't apologize with a long speech. They did it with silence and a reset. In 2023, Balenciaga returned with a stripped-down runway show. No props, no drama, just tailoring, just design. Almost Cristobal again, as if to remind everyone, we can still do the fashion part. We never forgot how. So where does that leave us? What is Balenciaga today? Is it a luxury house with century-old roots? Is it a performance art piece in disguise? Is it a social experiment wrapped in shoulder pads? Yes, all of it, and more. Cristobal gave the brand its bones. Nicholas gave it future form. Demna gave it attitude, memes, chaos, and weirdly honesty. Because here's the thing, fashion has always been about more than clothes. It's about power, money, culture, and, let's be real, attention. Balenciaga figured that out. They realized that in a world full of brands shouting louder and louder, sometimes the weirdest whisper wins. A trash bag with a logo is not just a product. It's bait for clicks, for conversations, for controversy. Demna didn't invent this idea, but he mastered it. He turned the runway into a platform for performance, a place where irony and sincerity hold hands in $1,000 boots. And now, every move Balenciaga makes is watched, dissected, and memed, which, ironically, is exactly what keeps it relevant. So, will Balenciaga stay on top? Will it fall apart under the weight of its own weirdness? Hard to say, but that's part of the thrill. Because love it or hate it, you're still talking about it. And in 2025, that's half the battle. Let's rewind again. Not just to get Aria or Paris or even Vietmans, but to what Balenciaga actually means to fashion as a language. Balenciaga isn't about just making clothes. It's about creating a feeling. Sometimes it's intimidation. Sometimes it's irony. Sometimes it's discomfort. And that's the point. When Cristobal built his early collections, he wasn't selling glamour. He was selling gravity. His dresses didn't sparkle, they had weight. They held shape without saying a word. And now, decades later, Demna channels that same spirit, but through a completely different medium. Cristobal used silk. Demna uses silence, satire, and oversized silhouettes. But if you look close enough, they both speak the same language. A language of control, of commentary, of pushing boundaries. Demna's shows often feel more like social experiments than fashion runways. From muddy ditches to red-lit panic rooms, every venue becomes a message. One show was literally held in the New York Stock Exchange. Models walked between desks in latex suits, while strobe lights flickered and data tickers rolled in the background. Another was filmed as a dystopian VR simulation, with avatars instead of models. Why? Because Balenciaga isn't just reacting to the world, it's reflecting it, and sometimes distorting it just enough to make us uncomfortable. Even their marketing is an extension of that. Look at their social media. Sometimes no captions, no product tags, just an image, weird, raw, stripped down. It makes you stop scrolling. And that's exactly the point. Fashion isn't just on the runway anymore. It's in your feed. And Balenciaga is designed to interrupt it. They've basically turned the scroll into their own runway. Unpredictable, controversial, unmissable. So yes, Balenciaga is absurd. But it's intentionally absurd. It's a mirror held up to us, to the chaos, to the contradictions, to the culture that consumes faster than it thinks. And like it or not, we're all part of the show. You ever hate something so much you can't stop looking at it? Balenciaga gets that. They use discomfort the same way some designers use crystals as decoration. And that's why, love them or cancel them, they stay in the conversation. Not because everyone agrees, but because no one can look away. And that is the secret. WTF moments, aka Balenciaga bingo. Let's take a detour into some of Balenciaga's strangest, boldest, and most unbelievable moments. For example, did you know Balenciaga once released a shirt? It was literally a short-sleeve dress shirt sewn onto the front of a long-sleeve t-shirt. The internet went wild. Was it fashion? Was it a mistake? Or was it just a $1,300 meme? Another time, they dropped a leather bag that looked exactly like an IKEA shopping tote. You know, the big blue ones that cost $1? Balenciaga's version, $2,145. And the best part? IKEA responded with their own how to identify a real IKEA bag meme. It was savage, but also free marketing. Then came the Crocs. Yes, Crocs, the famously ugly foam clogs worn by dads, chefs, and toddlers. Balenciaga put them on 10-inch platform soles, covered them in pins, and sold them for $850. And guess what? They sold out before they even hit stores. The brand's creative genius, or madness, isn't limited to products. One runway show featured models walking through ankle-deep fake snow, while a storm raged around them and distorted emergency radio signals played in the background. It felt like fashion had met climate anxiety in real time. In another show, models walked a circular mud pit with audience members sitting like they were watching a disaster unfold, because that was the point. The show was meant to reflect war, struggle, survival, and how fashion tries to keep its footing in the middle of it all. But here's the thing, even when people hated it, they kept watching. There's a story about a pair of destroyed sneakers, completely ripped, burned-looking shoes, that Balenciaga priced at $1,850. Photos of the shoes went viral. Outrage followed. But so did orders. It made people angry, which, in Balenciaga's world, means it worked. These moments aren't accidents. They're provocations. Planned, deliberate, and deeply Balenciaga. Because this brand isn't just here to make you look. It's here to make you react. Love it or hate it, they've mastered the algorithm of attention. And in today's world, that might be the most fashionable thing of all. Let's talk about something most people skip, the craftsmanship behind the chaos. Because beneath the oversized hoodies, the Crocs, and the controversy, Balenciaga's construction is still top tier. Every piece, even the ironic ones, is built with precision. The stitching is meticulous. The tailoring is mathematical. And that's the twist. They might dress it up like a joke, but the quality is no joke at all. Balenciaga is still operating like a couture house. Even when they're selling streetwear, they'll send a pair of jeans down the runway with fake grease stains. But the denim is sourced from premium mills in Japan. A t-shirt might look like it came from a thrift bin, but it's been cut and sewn with couture-level care. And maybe that's part of the performance. Because irony hits harder when it's expertly executed. It's like Banksy with a tailoring degree. And that duality of humor and high-end is what makes Balenciaga so compelling. It forces you to ask, is it ridiculous? Or is it brilliant? And why can't it be both? Most brands don't want to confuse you. Balenciaga does. Because confusion leads to curiosity. And curiosity leads to conversation. And that's what keeps them at the center of culture, whether you like it or not. Now let's get personal for a second. What does it actually feel like to wear Balenciaga? It's not just a brand, it's an experience. You don't just wear it, you perform it. An oversized coat isn't just fashion, it's armor. A pair of sneakers with 3 soles isn't just footwear, it's a statement. And people notice. Balenciaga gives the wearer power, or at least the illusion of it. You feel taller, louder, slightly weirder, but in a good way. It's not subtle, it's not soft, it's not supposed to be, and that's why people love it. Because in a world full of beige basics, Balenciaga lets you scream. Even if you're only walking to get a coffee, it gives you the permission to be too much and makes it look intentional. And isn't that kind of beautiful? Fashion is supposed to be personal. And if your personal style says, I want to look like a space pirate librarian, Balenciaga gets you. Part 7. Where it goes next. Let's wrap this with something bigger, the future. Where does Balenciaga go from here? After scandal, silence, and reboot, what's next? Well, fashion is shifting. People want more than shock. They want substance. They want story. And Balenciaga, despite all the memes, has story. It has roots. It has innovation. It has the receipts, from Cristobal's legacy to Demna's disruption. So maybe the next chapter isn't louder. Maybe it's smarter. More storytelling. More depth. Less noise. More meaning. Maybe Balenciaga becomes the fashion world's most stylish philosopher. Or maybe it just keeps trolling. Either way, we'll be watching. Because fashion moves fast. But Balenciaga moves weird. And that's why it always stays ahead. Not because it's following the rules, but because it remembers that rules are just fabric. And like any good designer, they cut through it. If it says Balenciaga, well, now you know the story. This was the Fashion Code, decoding one fashion empire at a time. If you enjoyed this, hit like. Subscribe for more deep dives, drama, and designer tea. And remember, it's only ridiculous until it's runway. See you next time.